Good morning. Welcome to the Parenting Versus podcast. So Lindsay and I are just sitting here on our porch. It is a chilly morning. It's about 12 degrees Celsius.
Which is what?
Which is, in Fahrenheit, I would say about 50. Let me see. I'm going to Google it.
Feels cold.
C2 Fahrenheit. 53. So, yeah, it's been an interesting morning. There's been smoke alarms and fires and arguments and kids screaming and Korean pancakes and coffee.
Elaborate on some of that so that people know what the heck
sure.
we're talking about?
I was just thinking about doing a single word description, kind of like in the Ozarks, where they have that little symbol
On the front of each episode.
on the beginning of each episode. They have a little picture, and it's in quadrants, and in each quadrant there's a little picture, and in the episode they it's something about that picture is in the episode. So
yeah, so you kind of have it's like a looking game. You kind of have to look for it. You look out for it.
yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at bird feeders because we have all these beautiful birds in our backyard, and I love watching birds a lot. And I just feel like they need a little bird feeder because we don't have a designated place for them to come and perch. And
Birds are pretty good at surviving. Did you know that
Well, I know they are, but I want to see them.
Did you know that birds are dinosaurs?
That's awesome. Let's get a dinosaur feeder.
They are. They're dinosaurs.
Yeah, no, I know.
They're the remnants. What's left over.
They're pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I just want to get a bird feeder. I want to hang it right here so, like, when we're inside, we can see them.
Mm-hmm.
And when we're outside, we can see them.
Yeah. So the morning's been eventful. I'll kind of recap. But we're here podcasting. So I woke up to. It was weird. I was kind of dreaming, and I think it kind of got incorporated into my dream.
Mm-hmm.
But I woke up to smoke. So we have a fireplace.
Yeah.
And Lindsay was up with the kids because Riley wanted to hang out. He wanted to spend some time with Lindsay.
I was trying to make a memory.
Riley's a cuzzy, kind of cuddler little guy.
A cuzzy?
Did I say cuzzy?
Yeah.
He's a
Cuddly.
cozy, cuddly little guy.
Yeah.
He likes to, like in the morning, he just likes to
Snuggle up.
snuggle. Well, he can go one of two ways. He can either be
A total Grinch.
he could be like Caesar.
Yeah.
And my idea of Caesar, a Caesar is
Bring
like.
me milk!
Yeah, just a very, he's ready to execute if you don't, obey
Conform
him.
to the whim.
Mm-hmm. But he can go one of two ways, either that way or he can be very lovey.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wake up during the week at about 5:30, 5:45, and I have a routine. I go make the coffee, and then as the coffee's making, I sit down and turn on KRQE. Shout out KRQE.
Shout out. Shout out to the news.
No,
I
I usually do channel 13, but sometimes I'll switch it to 7 or 4. If I want to feel nostalgic, I'll go to 4 because Steve Stucker's there. But when I'm there sitting on the couch, usually Riley's the first one to wake up, and he'll come in and he'll say, "Good morning, Daddy," and he'll sit down.
Good morning, Dada.
I'm like, "Good morning, Riley."
It's like this little.
And my response is, "Good
Oh,
morning,
here they
Riley. I love you."
come.
He's like, "I love you." What's up, buddy? No.
Mommy, we have been cutting their time. Mommy, I didn't even get to have my time.
Should I let him hatch an egg?
No, I want to play Minecraft.
Oh, I would
Well-
take what I can get, pal.
Your choice. Hatch an egg or go in there and watch what they're watching.
I want to play Minecraft.
Wow, that's not at all how we ask for stuff.
Please, can I play Minecraft?
What do you think so?
What are the kids going to do?
They can go in our room and watch something.
That TV's not working again.
Well, they could watch something on the tablet.
No.
On the computer.
All right. Do you have something to talk about while I get this?
It's
Or do you want to
Parenting
pause?
Closet, first one of the day. Oh, here.
Okay, we're back.
We're back.
We used that song last week too.
Did we?
Yeah, I need to mix it up because Jeff has a lot of stuff.
I need to mix it up.
He has a lot of songs on his SoundCloud,
Oh.
and I tend to use the same ones over and over. But,
Well,
anyways, what were we talking about? Birds, dinosaurs,
dinosaurs,
our
bird.
morning.
Dinosaur feeders.
Yeah, so I woke up this morning. The house wasn't filled with smoke. There was just like a hint of a smell.
Well, I mean,
I didn't feel like it was filled with smoke.
okay, that's good. I just sort of felt like maybe
There was
it
just like a smell. And then the smoke alarm started to go off. We have a very sensitive smoke alarm, which makes me happy.
Yeah, I was like, well, at least it's doing its job. I mean,
Yeah.
if this
But
wasn't the-
Lindsay was cuddling with the boy, and she started a fire.
we have these fire logs. They're like Yankee Candle ones, and they're scented. They're like evergreen forest scented. So I was like, oh, it's gonna smell like Christmas in here, and I'll
It
drink.
did.
I'll drink my coffee, and we'll cuddle with the blanket. It'll be such a nice way to wake up. And it wasn't.
So there was a bit of smoke, not a ton, just a bit, enough to get the smoke alarm going. So there's the vent, or the flue, or there's other names for it, but in a fireplace in a house, like there's a vent to let smoke out and also to let oxygen in so there can be a fire.
Yeah.
Well, the smoke backed up a little bit and there was some smoke and, it,
Some smoke, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there was some smoke for sure.
and I was in bed in the middle of a dream smelling smoke, hearing an alarm. I got up and so there was that, which was fine.
When everybody got up, it was like
Yeah.
it was. Oh, here they
Which is
come
fine.
again. Where did he get a sucker from?
I gave him a sucker.
Oh,
I'm an awesome parent.
okay.
Riley, go sit with Juju.
No.
Whatever. He's not bothered anybody.
Aren't you cold?
Go get your jacket at least.
Yeah, it's
No.
chilly out here.
Whatever. I don't care. So yeah, that's what we did.
Mm-hmm.
And he's here, hopping with a sucker.
Because he's jacked up on sugar
Hmm.
and pancakes.
Yeah.
So how did we solve the problem? Because it went off for like an hour. I mean, it was pretty crazy.
We continue to fan the. I opened the flue, or the vent, whatever it is, and hoped that the smoke would then go out of our house and into the air. But that wasn't the case. There was still a little bit of smoke, and the smoke alarm was going off, and it was whatever. So what I ended up doing was I took the log out of our fireplace. I put it in our. We have a metal like pail, like a bucket.
It's a coal bucket.
Yeah, coal bucket. And I took it outside and I doused it with water. I'm sure our neighbors were like wondering why is there a giant plume of smoke coming out of the backyard of this house?
No, well, our neighbor next door, I ran into him as I was trying to air out the house and open the front door. No, thank you. And his name is Ted.
Ron.
Ron.
I think it's Ron.
I think it's Ted.
Okay.
Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
maybe it is Ron. I don't know. Anyway, he was getting ready. They're going to Utah on a
Mm.
trip, and
That's
he's
fun.
like, "Oh, is everything okay? I heard you guys' fire alarm." I was like, "Sorry." He's like, "It's okay," and I told him what happened. He's like, "Oh, my wife did that too once," and I was like, "Okay, I'm not alone.
Yeah.
It's cool. We're good. We're good here."
Yeah. So my attitude automatically went to like, why did you do this? I'm awake. I'm fanning this thing. And then I paused for a second. I was like, well, because she wanted to have a good morning with Riley, and it was all good intentioned. Like, I'm not, whatever. So I was wrong in that. And I hugged you. Do you remember?
Mm-hmm.
I told you it's okay.
Are you just wanting to get this on recording?
Yes.
Okay,
Is that okay?
I guess so. You just, I get what you're doing.
What am I doing?
You're trying to prove something.
What am I trying to prove?
Whatever. You're trying to get it on recording. Like, look what a good dude I am.
No, I did realize that. I really did. I'm not trying to toot my own horn.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't bring a blanket out here.
Why don't you just not come out here for a little bit?
I want.
Okay, go tell Juju.
I swear, it's like they know, and they just. I say that every time.
Okay.
Oh,
I just
okay.
ordered a bird feeder on Amazon.
Oh, you did?
I'm very excited about it.
Hmm.
It's going to be good.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
That you did that.
Why?
I don't know. It's kind of funny.
Why? Why?
How did you order a bird feeder? On Amazon.
My card's linked to Amazon.
Oh.
I don't use it that much, but sometimes.
So, all right, he's gone.
He's gone.
Yeah, so it's been a morning, and then we decided. He's okay.
He was climbing on the trash can earlier.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to make sure he wasn't.
I try my hardest, like, not to draw attention to myself with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's like in Jurassic World.
Yes, I know.
Or Jurassic Park, where if you stay really still, they won't recognize you and they'll move on. That's my philosophy with parenting.
That may work if you're a dad, but that's BS if you're a mom. It ain't happening.
Yeah. So that was the first couple hours of our morning.
Mm-hmm.
Second couple of hours, we're trying to make the decision, do we go to church now? We have like 10 minutes to get ready if we want to. And somehow, I mean, I don't know. Everything's a blur to me when you're like in the moment.
Everything went to shit this morning.
Yeah.
It was good intentioned, but it all went to crap.
I'm okay to be honest. Like, I think couples fight, don't they? And argue and disagree. Is that true? Like, no, that's just... Okay, so
Don't they?
That's a
Yes,
real question.
but you know it's true.
All right, so I'm going to parenting pause for a second. I'm going to get our... Or can you talk for a minute about our morning?
Talk for a minute. Oh, cool. He's dragging the entire comforter out here. Okay, let's go take that back inside. Maybe make a fort. Oh, that kind of sounded like an angry T-Rex. I'm sure the neighbors really like us now with our fire alarm and our shrieking children. Today has not been a great morning for me. I'm annoyed as hell. I don't want to be around my kids. They are driving me insane. I don't really want to be around my spouse because I feel like we have been butting heads and I feel like I just want to be alone. And yet here we are making a podcast for some reason. I don't know. I was trying to tell Lorenzo, I feel like sometimes I don't, as a mom, ever get time to just recharge by myself. And that's hard. I'm not saying that it's not hard for dads, so please don't misunderstand me. But at least coming from a female mom perspective, or a primary parent perspective, maybe, I feel like my time is always consumed with, like, kids, work, house stuff, getting stuff ready for the next day, backpacks, packing lunches, making the bed, doing the laundry, doing the dishes. Who are we kidding? I don't do the dishes. It's just always something. And then by the time I finally sit down, Lorenzo will be like, hey, let's do this. Let's talk about this. And I'm like, sometimes I don't want to talk. Sometimes I just want to be alone. So that's how I'm feeling today.
You talking about a couple?
I'm just talking about how as a mom, your mental space and your physical space is always invaded by things. It's never not filled with something. And sometimes you just want to be alone because you're so used to having things and people and thoughts and mental things like invading
that's a human thing,
your
though.
space. I mean, it is, but I can't even sleep in my own bed alone. Like, there's always a kid on me, or like I'm in their bed because they can't sleep. And then from the minute I open my eyes, or even if I don't want to open my eyes, there's somebody, mom, and I'm just like, good Lord.
Yeah.
And I can't even be alone in the bathroom. Like, yesterday, I went in the bathroom to take a bath, and our daughter came in and started, like, fussing, and then she wanted to get in, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I can't even bathe by myself. Like I just want to lock the door and, like, disappear.
So there's all that tension, I guess, with kids. Like, I think it's like every week parenting is hard.
Some weeks are harder than others.
But I do enjoy being a parent.
It has its ups and downs.
Yeah, it's definitely a big sacrifice times 3.
I'm just saying, like, there's got to be a better way to, like, mentally recharge sometimes, because I feel like I need that and I don't get it when I need it.
If you can't Yeah. Um, I think with parenting, I don't know, it's hard to find that time. Because most of the time when you're parenting too, you're on a budget. Kids are not cheap; they're expensive. So it's
I
like,
would just like to read a book in my room by myself without anyone busting the door down.
yeah. I mean, we could find time to do that.
That's what I would like.
You have to be very creative, I think. Like, are you going to be able to do that while they're awake? No.
Some people do.
I don't think anybody does. If you have toddlers, like, I don't think that's possible. Like, do you think you're going to get through a book while your toddler is awake?
Not a whole book.
Or, I mean, do you think you're even going to get through a sentence while your toddler's awake?
I'm saying, Lorenzo,
I'm not.
that there's two of us, and we could take turns giving each other that time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying like for you. I'm not saying like to you.
No, I'm
just saying like
I know what you're saying. But
if
I'm
there's
saying,
toddlers around, they are going to take like front and center over anything.
Yeah, but you need to be intentional about your time too, and like, I'm just gonna say it because I get frustrated with this.
Mm-hmm.
In the mornings, when you're like getting ready for work,
Mm-hmm.
you're not being invaded by little people. You're in our bedroom, you're showering, you're getting ready, you're doing things on your own clock. And like, yeah, you might have to take them to daycare, but I get them ready for that. Like, you're not being like mauled by little kids. I don't get that time in the morning. And I kind of resent that. In fact, I hate it because
Are you jealous?
yeah, absolutely.
What about when I'm gone?
When you're gone, I'm the only adult here. So if I have to shower quickly so that I don't leave them
No, but like,
unattended.
what if I'm gone and there's like there's no kids around?
There's always kids around.
When I'm taking them to daycare, there's no kids around.
Yes, there's still Luke, and he's still very needy.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry for doing that then, I guess. But no, like with the little ones, here's what I noticed. Like over the summer, I don't work because I'm a teacher, so I don't work. I've tried to like make these goals in the summer. So this summer I had a goal that I was going to read a book. I didn't get through the book because I know that when they're awake, it's just not going to happen. There's no me time when you have kids. And that's what's frustrating as a parent sometimes. There's no me time. It's just like family time all the time.
I get that, but you can also work together to let the other person,
Well, I'm not-
your spouse, have some time, and you can trade off.
So I think
It's a
I think
balance.
we're on different wavelengths right now because I'm not like disagreeing with you or anything. I'm just explaining a situation, describing a situation. So it's just it is frustrating and it's hard, but for me, what I do is I try to find the time to like accomplish those things. Yeah, taking turns. Like one thing I have tried to do more is exercise, like going for a run or whatever. Like that's fun for me. I get to be outside. I like to be outside. I like to exercise, even though I don't do it at all, really. And you're here taking care of the kids, and I appreciate that time. And like swapping places and having me take care of them while you, I don't know, go make jewelry or something. Like
It's different, though.
Hmm?
If I were to be like, hey, I want to go out with Jen tonight and grab a beer, I would be getting texts and calls about, when are you coming back? Like, what time are you going to be back? The kids are cranky, this and that. Like, it's not, I don't know. It's not equal.
So you're frustrated. Why are you frustrated?
I just literally told you on the podcast. I just explained all of it.
No, but you're frustrated right now at me.
I'm frustrated because you don't seem to understand that it's an unequal imbalance. Like, there's no balance. And it's not anybody's fault, but it's never going to be equal. Like, Luke has a jogathon. Like, I have to figure out my work schedule and, like, rearrange things so I can be there. Like, as a mom, like, you're expected to rearrange and figure out and juggle and compensate things. And as a dad, it's like, oh, your responsibility is to go to work. And, like, you go to work and you do your thing. Like, you have a job, you go to work, you have a career. But, like, as a mom, like, you're
But
just
we
expected
both-
to do so many different things,
we
even
both
if
have
there's not
jobs.
enough time and energy. Exactly.
Like our situation, we both have jobs, and
I know,
we
and
both
that's
take
just,
care of kids.
I know, and that's just one more freaking thing for me to have to deal with during the week that I'm trying to balance. And I'm one person, and I feel
Yeah.
like I can't do it all.
So I would never discount like your responsibilities. Your responsibilities are huge. Like being a mom is a full-time job. Being
It's full time with overtime. There's
yeah, and is hard and it's stressful and it's all that. And I'm not gonna say like, I'm not gonna like tell you my position is bigger or more difficult or whatever. I'm not gonna try to compare, but I'm still like, being a dad is still has a lot of responsibility too.
I know. I'm not saying it doesn't.
And I'm still working, and I am still a father.
I know that. I'm not
Like there's
trying-
no fight. There's no division between like the mom and the dad.
I'm not saying that at all. I'm only talking from my own perspective. I'm not implying that. I'm just saying, as a female, as a woman, there's a lot of different things that are expected that I think people forget about. You know, like your kid has a school thing that usually falls on like the mom for whatever reason, that kind of stuff. Like I feel like it's, you know, like the other day
Yeah.
we had the counselor and Luke's teacher call us to have a conference, and you were on there for 2 seconds and you're like, I gotta
Yeah.
go to work, gotta go.
No, so
And, like-
I have been in conversation with her
But
for the
hold on.
past 3 weeks.
Okay, but I was at work, and I had to sit there and figure out how I was going to have a conference with them while I
Right.
was at work. You, on the other hand, didn't have to do that. You just had to go to
Right.
work, and you hung
But
up the
that's so I've been in conversation with her for 3 weeks, and finally I talked to her like a couple days before, and I'm like, I really can't make it over there. I can't get away from work. Like, you know, I mean, you were APS, I'm APS. Like, you know, it's hard to get away from work. But here's the thing: I have a lunch and a prep. Can you call me during my lunch? And at that point, I'll have 2 hours. She called me, and she's like, hey, I'm sorry, I know I'm calling you a little bit late. I'm like, yeah, you're calling me like right when my class is starting. I can't be on the phone right now. So I like behind the scenes, I was the one dealing with all of that.
I didn't even know she was calling,
No, she wasn't supposed to call you.
Well, she
was
did,
she
and
was
then I
supposed to
ended
just call me
being there the entire
because I
time.
knew you were busy, and I didn't want to add something extra on top of you. You know what I mean? Like
And then,
as a dad, like I know stereotypically men don't pull a lot of weight in a family.
no, they pull different weight.
No, the stereotype is like men think that, oh, I'm making all the big bucks and blah blah blah, like, and they feel like the stereotype is that because they're making money, when they get to come home, they're tired, they can crack a beer, sit down and watch a sports game while the mom is cooking and doing all this other stuff. Like, I don't want to be a stereotype. I consciously don't want to be that, and I'm making an effort to pull some of the weight in the areas that are traditionally or stereotypically like a quote woman's job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Let me.
Like I'm not afraid to change diapers,
No,
which is funny because grandparents have commented, "Oh, he changes diapers." Like, yes, I change diapers. Yes, I do laundry. I do dishes. I cook. Like, I try to pull some of these responsibilities that are traditionally and stereotypically, like, you know what I mean?
I think husbands, like, one of the nicest things you can do for your wife is saying, like, honey, I'm going to take the kids for a little while and do whatever you decide to do. Just so that, like, the mom can have a minute. Like, I know that sometimes, like, when you do that, I just need that, like, 30 minutes to get my shit together by myself. You know, I feel like I don't even have a choice a lot of the time. And it's nice when you're given the option of, like, hey, I can take the kids to this and you can stay home, or, you know, it's nice to be given that choice because a lot of times you don't have the choice.
Yeah, and I think most husbands are happy to give that too. Like,
Well, I don't know. This morning I didn't want to go to church because I needed some time, and you did not want to. You did not want to give me that.
well, we were in the middle of a fight, and I mean,
And I was trying to tell you, like,
Okay.
I needed the time.
Yeah, I was wrong. I'm sorry.
Well, no.
No,
I
like
just-
like if there's not like if you're not in the middle of a conflict and you're like, hey, like seriously, I just need a minute. Can you take the kids? I'll be here at home and I'll make jewelry, but I just need the kids out of my face. Like
That's how I was feeling this morning.
I'm down for that. And I know most husbands probably would be too. If it's in the middle of like a conflict or something,
But let me.
it's hard to think straight when you're like
Okay.
in the middle of a conflict.
But let me tell you, part of the reason I thought going to church, like you taking them to church and me staying here would be good, is because there's childcare at church. You can have your mental time too, in a different way. Everybody wins.
Right.
Like.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
we could rehash the morning more if you want. But what I'm
Are you being snarky or are you being serious?
so it was a bad morning, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a shit morning.
Can we move on?
Yeah, I'm just
All right.
saying, literally though, like at what point, and I just need to know, like at what point do I say like I need this time, please give it to me, and do you understand? Because I tried that and it didn't work.
Yeah. I'm not sure. So these times I think are important, like to have time alone. And I think that I don't know, but I feel like right now at this point in my life, my mid-30s, I felt the most conflict and pressure out of any point in my life. And I think that a lot of people who are in our same age group or whatever with kids and stuff, they kind of feel it too. Maybe, I'm not sure. Like one thing that I notice with the kind of groups that we go with, I guess, and maybe we need to be more social, I'm not sure. But what I've observed is a lot of people are very much on the surface. They have like an image. Maybe, I'm not sure. Maybe it's not an image, and maybe they're like this when we're not around. But I feel like everybody has their stuff together a lot more than we do. It feels like that sometimes, or maybe we're just really open and like open with our dysfunction.
I think
I'm not
that
sure,
there's an assumed
but-
thing that in your 30s you're supposed to have that together. Maybe not everybody does, but I think it's just sort of maybe it's a false assumption.
But the other day, I found myself feeling really, I guess you could just say down, discouraged.
Depressed?
I wouldn't say depressed.
You had the blues, man.
I wouldn't say depressed, but I was very discouraged because I feel like a lot of times like I'm just like what am I doing? Every day I'm waking up, I'm going to work, I'm doing this and this and this, and like there's a lot to look forward to because I am grateful. Like I love my kids with all my heart. Like I love you. My job isn't bad. I don't hate my job. I love working with kids and stuff. There's some things that just don't feel right sometimes, but I do feel pressure and conflict. Also, there's stuff with like my status, I guess. And it's sometimes like I'll compare myself, and I know that's a trap, but I look around and I see other people my age, and I'm like, what? I perceive them to be like much more successful than I am, like not in the same like struggling boat, I guess. You know what I mean? Like I'm a teacher, and it's not like a profession that pays a ton. In fact, like I looked it up, it's one of the degreed positions. It requires a college degree, and it's like one of the lowest paid like degreed positions in the United States.
People typically don't get into teaching for the money.
Yeah, a lot of people who teach have master's degrees, so it's like one of the most educated positions. Like they have like people in the field are very highly educated, but the amount of money they make is very low.
And that should tell you something about our
So, and I
social construct.
I wouldn't complain
Right.
about it. Like I'm not complaining about it. I love teaching. I love spending time with kids. I love just exploring the world with these kids. Like I love it. You tired already?
No, I'm just cold.
So,
I'm wrapped
but
up
it's
in a novel.
frustrating because Okay.
No, I'm just standing up.
Okay. It is frustrating because there are times when, like, financially we're not like where we want to be. I'm not to the point where I'm paying down my student loans. I'm not to the point where I'm paying down debt. Like, we pay our bills and move on, but it's not. Sometimes I feel like it's not enough, and then I look around. I'm like, and I compare myself, and I'm like, that job sounds kind of awesome. I would like that job. I would like that paycheck. I would like that house.
Well, everything looks awesome on the outside until you
Like,
know
whatever.
the ins and outs. Like,
And I think it's a part of being in my age group and in my position. You know what I mean? Like, being in my mid-30s, and I'm seeing people starting to be really rooted in their careers. And
but think about other people. I mean, other people may look at you and they may have the career.
well,
but
that's
they may be like, "Wow, I thought I would have a family by now."
well, that's all. That's
You know?
that's all. That's kind of what I'm saying is, like, you can do that, and you can see what's on the surface, and people project stuff that's on the surface, but there might be something under the surface that they're really struggling with that they can't talk about.
Of course.
And
human
like,
beings
and maybe
are
their
flawed.
interaction with me is like, oh man, they like, I have that, and they don't, and I don't know. It's just all kind of. It's all kind of just. It's interesting to me, but what I'm thinking is maybe the right thing to do is just to handle, like, the things that are bothering me, like, work out and, like, problem solve. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I don't know.
Well, if you make your hobbies and your habits cost less and consume less, you may be happier all around. Like,
Yeah.
if we spend more time and energy on exercise and not drinking and not spending money on crappy food. And I'm not saying, are they talking?
Oh, Riley's talking to Google Home.
Oh, okay. He's like, Google, make me a sandwich. Just kidding. No, I mean, I think if we shift our priorities too, we can kind of shift the lifestyle we have and gear more towards the things we want. I have a bad habit of spending money on coffee, like, and it's also not a good habit for me. So, like, that's something I need to do is kind of cut down on that and maybe put that energy towards exercise more.
Yeah.
And just because we're bored doesn't mean we need to go get a beer. Like,
That's another thing. I'm
boredom doesn't equal we need to consume something.
Yeah. I focus on all the things that I'm unhappy with. Like, I'm unhappy with my health. And I try to get motivation and try to do something about it, but it's like, it never happens.
It's because you have to look at what you have, not what you don't.
I'm unhappy with, like, the amount of money I make. I'm unhappy
What are
with.
you happy with, exactly?
See, that's what I was getting at.
But what are you happy with?
What am I happy with?
Yes.
I'm happy that we're healthy. I'm happy. I know this is something that we don't share, but I'm happy that when the bills are paid, even if there's not a whole lot left over, like, they're paid. Like, I'm happy when that happens. And when I do the budget and then I text you, I'm like, hey, bills are paid, but we got to be pretty. We have to be pretty thin with everything else this week. Like, hope that's okay.
I hate getting those texts.
Yeah.
That's like a
But
backhanded compliment.
when I-
or not compliment, but a backhanded piece of news.
When I know bills are paid, like, that makes me happy. Even if, like, oh, I can't buy marble this week. Does he want?
He wants to give those to the birds. He wants to give the pop. Sure. He wants to give the popcorn to the birds. Sure. Okay. You could do that.
Is this yucky?
No, it's
Yeah.
just popcorn.
It's yucky for him.
I don't know. Birds, they'll eat it.
Can you get and
Go put it on the picnic table.
on the picnic?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
But people,
Yep, there you go.
people have real problems and real issues, and I know there's conflict and pressure for a lot of people. It might be different for every person, but it's like, it's pain, and and it hurts, and sometimes you feel alone in it. Like, I think that's where friends come in too. Like, friendships are really important, especially friendships where you could be honest and you could say, man, I'm really like this sucks. Like I don't like this feeling of, you know, having to skimp by or whatever, or whatever. Like
Sparky.
every. Oh, sorry. What do you?
I missed Kyle.
Oh.
That's not an area code that I know. 419.
No idea.
Political ads, maybe.
Who knows?
Probably.
Should I pause again?
For what? For what?
For whatever transition's happening right now.
Our kid's just got sunglasses on and he's riding his tricycle. I don't think it's a transition. I think he's fine.
Okay.
I just want to lighten the mood. I'm kind of done with like moping around. You know?
I'm not.
Oh, okay.
I think it's good to talk about those things because I know a lot of people deal with those, you know. So, anyways,
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you want me, I don't know what else to talk about.
Well, let's pause for a second because that is really squeaky.
What, his tricycle?
Yeah.
All right.
You gonna ring your bell?
Pause for a second. Okay, we're back.
We are back. A
once
long break.
Yeah.
We've gone from coffee to beer.
They only waited about 40 seconds.
We waited several hours.
Yeah. So once upon a
Coffee to
time,
beer.
that song. Oh, the garbage truck.
This always happens. The minute we start to try to record something, it gets the noisiest.
Yeah, that's okay. We're outside.
Yeah, we're outside.
Broadcasting live-ish
Live-ish right now for
at
us.
827 Brewery. Is that
No,
what
it's
called?
377.
Oh, 377. I knew there was three numbers, but
It's the 377 Brewery in Albuquerque. This is
Yes.
a new one for us. We've never been here before.
but once upon a time, that song was our intro song for a actual radio program that
It was on AM.
Lindsay's brother.
AM
It
radio.
was on 8:10 a.m.
KKIM.
KKIM
620.
620.
620.
620
KKIM.
a.m. Yeah, we did a weekly radio program with
Yeah. My brother.
Lindsay's brother Ryan.
Yep.
Ryan Freeman. And
Now
his wife.
fantasy sci-fi author.
Yeah.
Former radio show host.
No, he still does radio.
Oh, okay. Well, okay.
Yeah, and Stephanie as well. So
Yep.
there was the four of us: Stephanie, Ryan, me, and you. This was pre-kids.
Yeah, pre-kids, we had a radio show. Weird.
Yeah, we used to
Please
do
don't listen to it. It's
actual
horrible.
radio. Are there archived?
I don't know.
episodes?
It was KKIM AM 1000.
AM 1000. Yeah.
Was that it?
I think it was AM 1000.
AM 1000 here in Albuquerque. It was a American General Media affiliate. So I don't know. Yeah.
I think Ryan would actually know more than that. Like, I think he has the episodes on his.
He has the archives. He's
Yeah.
actually sent them to me in a zip file, so I have them somewhere too.
Yeah.
It's interesting to listen to them because sometimes I'm like, oh God, what are you talking about? And other times I'm like, yeah, that was on point. Yeah, like we did an episode about Scientology,
Yeah.
and it was like a pretty good one.
We did an episode about Halloween.
Yeah, and then it was weird because I remember we had the mic like malfunctioned on us in the middle of that episode. Do you remember that?
I do.
And it was
like
like
laughing.
it was like haunted laughing noises, and there was nobody in the sound booth, and we were like, "What in the hell?" It was weird, and it was perfect timing. It was bizarre.
That was a fun thing.
Yeah, it was super fun.
Like I said, pre-kids.
Uh-huh.
And then ever since then, we got the bug. And
Yeah.
now this is why we do this.
It
'cause
was
we
like
enjoy
every
this.
Saturday night. Do you
We
remember?
enjoy it, yeah.
At the station.
Yeah.
Every
So there's
Saturday night.
there's no kids around us. Obviously, we're at a brewery.
Yeah.
This place is kind of cool, though.
You know, I like the atmosphere. The beer is growing on me. The waitress was like, "Try this beer. It's a lot like coffee." And I was like, "Oh, I'm on it." And I tried it, and I was like, "Yep, this is right up my alley." So
Yeah.
I'm not even sure what it's called, to be honest, but it's delicious.
We're on the corner of Gibson and Yale.
It's killer street tacos.
Oh, the food is good.
They were delicious.
the guy came out, the cook, I suppose.
I suppose.
And I had a green chili cheeseburger and fries, and it was good. It was
looked
good
really
beef.
good.
It was cooked really well. The fries were crispy on the outside and mushy on the inside. The green chili was hot and seasoned. It had actual salt on it.
Actual salt.
And it was roasted. You could tell it was New Mexico grown. Maybe it was Limitar chili. Who knows?
Limitar. Oh,
But
okay.
anyways, good stuff. I recommend it.
Yeah, it was good.
Local spots.
So we're just trying to, we try to give credit where credit's due. I think we say that a lot, but like, honestly, I'm looking for.
I think because I think probably because maybe one day we want to have a small business.
Maybe, if we keep the dream alive, we'll see.
Yeah, we've been talking a lot about today how like there's. What are you doing?
I was looking for a hair tie, but I decided to just put my hoodie back on.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I'm not sitting in the sun anymore, so I'm actually kind of cold a little bit. Anyway.
Yeah, we've been talking about like issues that mid-30s people kind of face.
Yeah.
And I think one of those things is finding purpose.
Yep. And creativity.
Mm-hmm. You go through a crisis.
Aesthetic outlet.
And I wonder too if generations before us, people in their mid-30s, kind of dealt with the same thing. Because you know how parents always want to give you their advice, like, "Oh, we had to deal with this, this, and this, and this when we were in our."
I think it's generational.
Yeah.
Because I don't think our grandparents probably dealt with this. If they were growing up in the Depression or they were dealing with stuff in the Depression, like, I doubt that they were like, how can I have a creatively sustainable job that I really enjoy? They were probably just focused on, like, making it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's probably different. But I feel like our generation has been... I feel like we were groomed for one thing.
I feel like we were set back 10 years, too.
What do you mean?
Because of... that stupid recession that happened in like 2008.
That's what I'm saying. We were groomed for one thing. We were told in high school, like, get a degree, get a degree, get a degree. Like, that's your key to success. Go to college. So then people did that, and the recession hit, and it was like, oh, fuck. Like, I have a degree, but this isn't helping. Like, what do I do? Yeah. I remember after the recession, like, everybody that was degreed could only get, like, entry-level jobs, and it was really hard.
Right.
So, I don't know. I feel like we're kind of coming up out of that, but we're having a hard time deciding what that means as a generation.
Yeah.
You know? And I think because we were, like, recession graduates, too, we probably had to be creative with how we were going to make money, which is a benefit.
Yeah.
But now the struggle is real. We got to benefit, or we've got to struggle between, big boy jobs and, like, creative.
Big boy and big girl.
Oh, yeah.
I'm recording a Instagram video as well.
Oh, God.
Because why not? I'm holding two devices right now.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
The iPhone we record with, and also the phone that I use. So I just wanted to do an Instagram
Did you get
video.
A nice shot of that Applebee's across the street?
There it is, Applebee's.
Nothing more American than the Applebee's and the Fairfield Inn.
Yeah.
We were talking about that Fairfield Inn across the street. It, like, got a facelift, but only the front. The rest of it looks the same.
Yeah, we were talking about that. It's like the front part looks pretty modern, and then you look at the left and the right sides of it, they look the same.
Yeah.
It's like maybe they were going to finish their modeling later, but I don't know.
They just didn't.
Anyways, if you look at our Instagram, you can see the close-ups of our beers. That's Lindsay's. I have a double IPA, which is kind of... It's good. It's very skunky, though.
Do you want to know how you'd say that in Spanish?
Skunky?
No.
What?
Double IPA?
What?
Doble IPA.
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 Dame una doble IPA, por favor.
Doble IPA.
Yeah. So, anyways, I'm gonna stop this 1 minute and 25-second video.
Do it.
And I'll post it on our Instagram.
Uh-oh. Their car the Infinity just shut off.
That's what happens with cars now.
Oh.
No, seriously, like...
I like how that's what happens with cars now.
No, like newer cars, what they do is when they're idling, the engine shuts off.
Oh.
And when they're ready to go, the engine turns on. Do you see how now they're going forward?
But how did they...
It does that automatically.
Oh. That's so weird.
Yep, does it automatically.
My mind has been blown,
yep,
guys.
It's the creepiest thing. It saves gas.
Oh.
So, whatever works.
God bless America.
But I imagine they go through a lot of starters.
Yeah.
I always thought about that.
Probably. Tit for tat.
Mm-hmm. There's some other stuff we were talking about. What were we talking about?
So many things this morning. We were getting distracted big time by kids, and I don't know. I don't know. I would like to start like a little coffee truck, like not a food truck, but like a coffee truck. Mm-hmm. That's kind of like something I would love to do. I also used to sell vintage clothing, which was super fun. I just don't have the time to pursue it at all right now. But I miss that creative outlet. I miss that creative aesthetic. I feel like the world needs to be a more creative place. I used to run a vintage little pop-up shop online called Atomic Apple Vintage. And then I changed it to Atomic Apple Collective later. But it was awesome. I really enjoyed it. I had so much fun doing it. I felt satisfied and fulfilled, and like I just felt so happy doing it. And I made some money too, which was great. So I think like if you can have a side hustle and you can really contribute to it and put in the time you want, and it doesn't become work, but it becomes just like a passion, you should go for it.
Yeah.
I feel like creativity is something that if you have it, you need to hang on to it. Cheers.
Amen. It's kind of hard though, like, especially when you have kids. Maybe not especially when you have kids, but I don't know. It feels like especially because that's my situation. I can empathize with myself pretty easily. You have kids, it's harder for you. I don't know. It's just, if you want to be an entrepreneur, business person, small business person, there is more at stake. There's more at risk
when
because you
kids.
have little people around you.
Right. Well, you have people that depend on you financially, and like, it's just you can fail, and it's just you failing, and that's no big deal. But yeah, when you have kids, there's a whole other ballgame you're playing. I would love to know, like, because I know we know a lot of people our age that are like, maybe they're behind us in having kids, like their kids are a little younger, or they don't have kids quite yet. But like, I would like to know how those people feel about all this stuff. I would like to know, okay, like let's say...
That's what we were talking about earlier, because I have a tendency to, and I'll be honest, I mean, this podcast is all about honesty. Like, I'm all out there, right? Like,
right.
I have no problems, no qualms. Maybe I have some qualms, but like
What are qualms anyway?
Issues.
Oh. Okay.
Problems.
Okay.
Discrepancies. I like.
That man looks. Oh, maybe he's coming for beer.
Yeah, probably. No, like I have no issues.
You have no
having
issues?
like my shortcomings out in the open.
Right.
Because I feel like I want to be able to relate to people who also have shortcomings. And
which makes a lot of sense, because I think people feel
one
disconnected when they
are.
are.
And there's like some sort of incentive to like not having your shortcomings out in the open, to hide those shortcomings and have your best face facing outwards. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah,
like,
and I think with the rise of social media, that's all we see. The majority of the time is.
And
like,
I don't think it's just our generation that
amazing
did it though.
pictures like thrown in your face.
Like think about the 1950s where, like
suburbia.
Yeah, women and men both had to have like this perfect little image, right? And then behind the scenes, when the door shuts and the guests are leaving, that's when everybody like starts fighting and battling, and you know what I mean?
No, that's totally true. And you know what's funny is, have you ever seen that movie? I think it's called Revolutionary Road.
No.
It's got Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet, actually, which is interesting because they also were in Titanic together. But it's very disturbing. But it's a really good portrayal of kind of what you're talking about. Like, it's in the 50s. They live in this nice suburban neighborhood in this beautiful house. Everything looks picture perfect. But behind closed doors, like, it's all going to shit. And maybe we should watch that soon so you can see it.
I'd be down.
It's pretty good. But I think you're right. Maybe we are facing kind of the same thing. Post-war America did project this like happy image of a family, a husband, a wife, a picket fence, 2.5 kids, a dog.
I think that's where the American dream little phrase was coined, wasn't it? Like after the war?
Maybe. I would have to look it
up. The American dream? Because if you think about...
The American dream is a lie.
If you think about like American history,
right?
Before the World Wars, World War One was not called World War One when it was happening. It was called the Great War. I think. Is that right? I think it was called the Great War because you can't have a World War One if there wasn't a World War Two. Anyways.
But I digress.
Yeah. I don't know why they didn't call it the Second Great War then. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, no, I gotcha.
But
they're like bigger than the first one.
Anyways.
Kind of stressful.
Anyways, I will move on.
No,
Digress.
but I think you're right. Like, I think you're right. The American dream, that term was coined because people got back from the war and
they
were
had
like,
money.
They had money, but they were like, we need to build something different. Like, what's our dream? Like,
yeah.
Because America's
all
been
these
torn
men's,
down.
all these men's.
All these men's.
All these men's.
All these men's.
They were all vets, right? And they were all it sounds bad, but if you survived, like you were taken care of by the government, like you had money, you were a vet, you did your, like there was a bond, there was a common bond.
You did your due diligence to society.
And there was a bond too, because
right.
like your neighbor was probably a vet. You had that to talk about.
Well, and think about where your value system would have shifted. Mm-hmm. It would have been like, I've seen war. It's ugly. It's terrible. I've seen poverty. I've seen, scrimping and going without. Now I want to go home to my wife. I want to start a family. I want to pursue these things that I think make me A, American, and B, like what other people would want.
Right.
And so you have this whole nation rallying around this idea of like this perfect house, kids, wife, picturesque idealism.
And in the 50s, that's what drove a lot of those innovations too, like the automatic washing machine.
Of course.
Dear goodness, like it's something we take for granted today. Like we did probably, or are still doing currently. We're probably in our 7th or 8th load of laundry as of right now.
I like how for us it's a burden, but back then they were probably so excited to throw laundry into an automatic machine.
It's not I guess it could be a burden. Like the hardest part of laundry is folding.
Yeah.
Like we don't have to hand wash each garment.
But you know what they don't talk about? In the 50s, there were like housewives that were like drinking tons of booze and like taking like pills, like muscle relaxers, and like
party on.
Because they were depressed and they were overburdened by this by this.
In between chores, their next door neighbor would come over. They would share a bourbon.
Well, no, seriously, like there were housewives would have their kids get together and they would make drinks and cocktails in the kitchen while the kids played outside.
They would day drink?
Yes. So it's like, okay, and they created a culture around that even. So it's like the American dream, A, is an illusion, and B, like I feel like we're almost sort of reliving that idea of the American dream today with social media. Yeah.
It's like, look how awesome my family is. We got this professional photography done at the Bosque.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we're just cheap.
No, but I think
maybe I'm just cheap. I won't put that on you.
No, I'm cheap too. I don't like artificiality, and I think that's where we have that in common. Like, if I'm going to take a picture of my family, I want it to be like an accurate picture. I don't want it to be us like frolicking in a field of daisies, because that's not how our life is.
It's going to be Riley picking his nose with both fingers. a finger in each nostril.
Juliet's going to have her hands down her pants, scratching her butt. And Luke's probably going to be mad and throwing a controller because we won't let him play Minecraft. I mean, that's basically what it's
Have you noticed Riley's been like doubling down on his nose picking though?
Yeah.
A nose in each nostril. Love you, Riley, if you listen to this in 20 years.
You're 3 right now, so we'll let it go. But if you're like 25 and you're listening to this, boo, you need to stop.
We're going to roast you. Yeah.
Ladies don't love a nose picker, friend.
I love that kid though.
I do too. He's so funny. Did you hear him having like pillow talk with me this morning? He hopped in bed and he's like, Mommy, Mom.
I was trying to figure out which kid was in our bed.
It was Riley. I felt his head and I was like, oh, lots of hair, big head. It's Riley.
Okay, so here's what I do. Can I tell you? Like there was a kid sleeping in the middle of us, and I was like, which kid is this? So I went down and I was feeling his feet. Because I feel feet first. I'm like, if they're bigger feet, it's Luke. If they're smaller feet, it's Riley. But I was like, I can't really tell right now. Like, which kid is this? I felt his head.
It was Riley. Big head, lots
of
hair.
All night? He slept in our bed?
No, he came in at like 5:30.
Did Luke sleep in our bed all night?
Luke didn't come into our bed at all.
At all?
At all.
So Riley was in our bed?
Yeah. He jumped in. He crawled over me in between us. He wiggled in. And then he's like, Mommy, the sun's not awake. And I was like, no kidding.
No, I was awake for that.
Yeah, and he
I was awake
like,
for all this. You don't think I'm awake?
He was like having like pillow talk. He was just telling me about his day yesterday. He just had to like rehash it real quick.
You don't think I'm awake, but I am.
Well, it'd be nice if you told me.
you know what's crazy?
What?
I just thought about traveling.
All right, dude.
And everybody wants to go
Thanks for
out of the
the
country, but there's so much of the United States that I'm not familiar with that I'm interested in learning about.
Yeah.
One city I want to visit is Detroit for some reason.
Me too. And
Seems like a fun place.
Cincinnati, Cleveland.
Yeah, Cincinnati would be cool.
I think I want to take a tour of like the Rust Belt. I feel like that's dark tourism. Like we talked about that show a little, but that's kind of like that falls into the realm of dark tourism.
I think I would like to go
wanna
into
see
like a
weird
Moberly
shit.
town and just like walk in.
Well-
Not Moberly, Missouri. But...
Okay, no, but here's the thing. I was in Moberly, Missouri not too long ago in July
Oh, you were with your brother.
to visit my brother. And we used to live in Moberly, Missouri, middle of Missouri. It's a prison town. Not a whole lot going on there.
We felt like we were in prison when we lived there.
No, but literally it's by a prison.
No, I know.
It's a prison town. And yeah, if you haven't seen Ozarks, again, it does a great job of making you feel like you're in Missouri again. Mm-hmm. But
They kind of blow out the stereotypes, though. They're kind of... No. Those stereotypes are very much... just like Breaking Bad did the stereotypes of Albuquerque. Like, there's no Tuco in Albuquerque. Are you kidding me?
there's like a million Tugos in
There's no
Albuquerque.
Tuco in Albuquerque. There's no... like, all the people...
But would you know, though? Because you
and
don't associate
they were
with those types of people.
misrepresented, too.
I disagree.
Look, so the stereotypes...
Have
in-
you
in
ever been
Breaking
to
Bad-
prison?
I've lived here all my life. I've been to ESPA, bro. Like, I know.
ESPA, bro.
Like, the people who... I mean, they...
I've been to ESPA, bro. Oh my god.
The stereotypes in Breaking Bad are off.
That was my
Like-
favorite. That was like my favorite comeback that you've ever said to me.
Like, they're off. They really are.
Do you know why the birds fly upside down in Espanola?
Don't say it.
I'm gonna say it.
Please don't. No, Espanola is beautiful. Like,
There's nothing worth shitting on.
okay.
Sorry.
Espanola
How do you start that joke and not finish it?
is beautiful. That's the thing.
It is really pretty, actually.
And it gets a bad rap for a lot of different reasons.
Aside
but, like,
from all the
it's-
homies, eh?
It's a very pretty place.
Yeah.
I do like Espanola. I would even consider living in Espanola. You're giving me this look, but like I would consider.
Do you want me to change my name to Sad Eyes?
See, that's
Loca?
Why, that's why.
Do you want me to change my name
It
to
is
Sad
so,
Girl
it is
or
so,
what?
It is so pretty in Espanola. There's like the Truchas Peaks to the east, to the west are the Hemes.
Oh, I smell pizza.
We're right next to Little Caesars.
Oh. I guess that makes sense.
Anyways, Espanola is really pretty, but in Breaking Bad, the stereotypes were way off. Way off. I mean, they tried to get close as best as they could, like, folks from not here, coming here to shoot and film, but the stereotypes were off. They tried to
Okay.
be close, but they were off.
Okay, but my friend came from Georgia, Tippy, and she saw a guy
She saw a
in a
lowrider.
lowrider, and she's like, "They're real," and I was like, "What are real?" And
Yeah.
she's like, "Those things. What are they called?" I'm like, "A lowrider?" She's like, "Yeah, they're real," and I was like, "Yes, they are."
Mm-hmm.
So those are accurate.
Somewhat, but we're not Los Angeles, and it's just a different place. Like, New Mexico is so different.
Do you want to get
But-
tattoos later?
No.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying with the Ozarks is like the stereotypes that they're portraying there's some truth to them, but they're not like
They're hyped, of course. It's TV. You have to
it's
hype
just,
them up.
Yeah, it's just
But no, what I was going to say before we started on this. Yeah, stereotypes. Totally not true. None of them. None of them are accurate.
their license plate is Oklahoma.
Okay, Oklahoma, you have some explaining to do.
Oh no, Illinois.
Oh, Illinois. Oh. Now I'm intrigued.
Land of Lincoln.
Lincoln would not be okay with this.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now. No, so we went to Moberly, and I went with my brother. We just drove through, did a little drive-by Moberly style. And that abandoned building, the brick school that was by our old house, was being renovated.
Oh really?
And I was like, whoa, there's hope for Moberly, Missouri. Like, I was so excited. Because I was like, when we lived there, it was this empty, giant brick, old, amazing building. But then we went by, like this last summer, it was being renovated, and that made me happy. That made my heart happy. And I even stopped at the gas station where we used to buy liquor. And I bought a mini just for old time's sake.
Did you really?
I did. It was banana liquor, and I left it in my brother's freezer. I was like, my gift to you.
It's probably still there.
I doubt it.
Yeah, I won a golf bag in that gas station.
I didn't even know we entered a contest to win anything. Do you remember that?
I entered it.
You did? Okay, because
Yeah,
I was like,
you were at work, and I see. I remember this. I remember this clearly.
I remember this clearly.
You were at work, and I used to walk to that place.
Yeah.
And I used to sneak, like 40s of PBR.
Why would you sneak them?
Because I didn't want you to know that, like, the days that I was working, that I was drinking
by yourself. Mm-hmm. I don't care.
And then
it's Missouri. You can drive with an open container in Missouri, which is crazy to me.
Yeah. I even one time, like, as I was buying the 40 of whatever, like, I was looking. So if it was a good day, if it was a good week financially, which good is definitely not.
We had an extra $2.
Yeah, I would buy the craft brew from Kansas City.
Yeah.
It was called Boulevard, I believe.
Yeah.
If I had a little bit of extra money, I would buy Boulevard. But that was definitely a treat. Most of the time, no, I didn't buy PBR. I bought High Life. That's what it was.
I know, it was the champagne of beers.
Oh, dear Lord.
The champagne of beers. Merry Christmas, Moberly.
And one time I even bought a pack of cigarettes.
You motherfucker.
And I totally hid it from you. And it's coming out on our podcast.
Wow. I feel like I should have something really good to tell you, but I don't have anything.
And I sat on our front.
I bought a bird feeder on Amazon, but I told you about that just now. I was going to buy some Toms and not tell you. I don't know. I mean, shit. What do I say?
I sat on our front. This is so funny. These memories are coming to me right now. I sat on our front porch area on our concrete steps, and I would drink High Life, and I smoked a cigarette, half of one, and I enjoyed the half of the cigarette that I smoked, and I felt I was overcome with guilt, like it was so heavy that I threw it away. I destroyed all the evidence, and I threw the rest of the pack away in our trash, and like I completely felt so bad.
It's okay. One time I stayed up all night playing The Sims for no reason.
In Missouri?
Yeah. Huh. I was like, I have a day off tomorrow. I don't give a... I used to think The Sims was kind of fun.
It is kind of fun.
And then I was like, I feel dumb for liking this. I'm not going to play it anymore. And then I stopped.
It's like a...
And then we had our Wii, and we bought The Sims, like the...
We didn't have a Wii in Missouri.
No. But after that, we had The Sims, and I bought the expensive one, like the...
And it wasn't that good.
It wasn't that good, and then it got stolen, and I only played it maybe twice. I was like, well, that's pretty stupid, but okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the PC version is definitely a lot better.
For sure. For sure.
So, I think I want one more beer, and I'll close out, and we can
go
back.
Hold on. Pause. I kind of think we should go somewhere else, really quick.
It's 3:37 right now.
We have an hour.
Okay.
So let's go somewhere else. And,
should we wrap up here?
Yeah, maybe we should.
So, we'll wrap up, I suppose. What are you listening to?
What am I listening to?
I'm going to go first.
No, I got it. I've been listening to a podcast called Trafficked in America, which is really good. It's about sex slavery in America. If you're into heavy shit, that's a good one for you. The Dream. There's another one called Sounds Like MLM, but okay. That one's super interesting. I like it. I like it a lot. Spooked. I always listen to Spooked. Ooh, there's a new one. Hey. Yeah. And then actually I put out a tweet the other day, and one of the bands that I tweeted on our Twitter responded, and I was like, that's exciting and awesome at the same time. So I have to just give a straight shout out because they are an amazing band. So yeah, they their names they're called Foreign Air. Foreign Air. And I was like, I tweeted them, and they were like, oh snap, and I was like, wow, right on. Thanks for responding.
That's cool.
So we appreciate you, Foreign Air. So listen to them if you get a chance.
We should listen to them in the car to our next spot.
Yeah, they're great. They are great. So I was very appreciative that they responded. You know.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Foreign Air.
Foreign Air.
Okay. What else?
I mean, that's pretty much it.
That's
lately.
it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mostly podcasts.
So we have a music subscription service that we use a lot, and I feel bad because I haven't been really using it that much, and I haven't really been discovering a lot of music that moves me. I think it might just be because I'm old. I don't know. So I've been listening to not as many podcasts, but more audiobooks. I think I mentioned that in our last podcast. But the one book that I'm reading, which I think I was still reading back then. I say reading, but I'm not reading. I'm listening.
Well, but I mean, okay, but we get it.
You get it. So it's called Meaning, Exploring the Big Questions of the Cosmos with the Vatican Scientists by Dr. Guy Consolmagno.
Hold on, where is that?
Consolmagno.
Hold on. Let me...
Consolmagno. Dr. Guy Consolmagno. Consolmagno. It's an interesting name. I think last podcast I had a hard time pronouncing his name too. No, but he's the first it's I guess it's more of a lecture series because he's more of reading. But it's kind of funny too because he gets super stoked about scientific topics. He's an astronomer. He works at obviously the Vatican observatory. The Vatican has an observatory that's awesome. Makes me want to be a Catholic. I don't know. So
you can go to the Vatican and be like, I belong. Here's my membership card. Let me see your observatory.
The fact that there are clergy people who are embracing science, that's awesome.
That is awesome. That's awesome.
For whatever reason, the faith that I call myself a part of, evangelical Christianity, we don't embrace science. We freaking get
shun it,
defensive by it. I don't know.
We get pissed about it when we shouldn't because it can all work together.
Yeah, so it's good. Meaning, exploring the big questions of the cosmos with the Vatican scientists. After I'm done with this, because I'm almost done with it, I think I'm gonna go to another Neil deGrasse Tyson. I did read. There it is. I listened to the Neil deGrasse Tyson bestseller. What is it called? Astrophysics for People in a Hurry, which was fantastic. I love that man. So that's what I'm listening to. As far as music is concerned, there's not really much of anything happening right now. I'm really trying to listen to Manchester Orchestra. A Black Mile to the Surface. The cover of that album kind of gives me the creeps though. I'm showing it to Lindsay right now.
I don't like that.
Yeah, it's like a really big tree, and there's a guy hanging from it, which I don't like. I also, as far as new albums, there's not really much of anything really I've been listening to. I mean, my music has been kind of a cycle of just old stuff, and I'm looking for new music. So I don't know. Anyways,
yeah,
that's about it. World Series is happening.
It is. It is happening. It's all happening.
I really hope the Dodgers win.
Yeah.
I do.
Okay.
But,
well,
anyways, that's our show. Our weekly show, guess what it is now?
I know, we're trying.
Yeah.
We're trying to get up on it. We know summer was a little bit few and far between, so.
And we're trying to be closer people to each other, too.
Yeah.
So, sorry if I made you awkward in this episode.
I'm not sorry.
Maybe deal with it.
Maybe go talk to your significant other about your shit.
This is not your Instagram feed with perfect puppies and kissing people.
Yeah, we're not perfect people with puppies, and we don't kiss a lot.
This is bruises in real world.
This is a lot of fingers, too.
Blast.
We give a lot of people middle fingers in this episode.
We flip each other off constantly during the episode, just so you know. Anyways, hope you guys have a good Sunday. We will talk to you maybe next Sunday.
Maybe. It's a mystery.
All right. Peace out.